started your first business with $0, right? Zero funds, no loans. You never went to your family or friends and so on. Why, Rosh?
Because I could.
That's.
I think
Wow.
way too many people use funding and the need for financing as a crutch, and it actually holds them back. You know, in everything we do, whether at Franklin Covey, whether at Social Rank Media, whether at the Masterclass Institute, I always tell people, this is not new. People have heard it before, but don't take it lightly. It's not about your resources, but how resourceful you are, period. And I think a lot of that has to do with mindset. So one of the things I mentioned earlier was the knowledge economy, right? Jumping in the gig economy and taking advantage of that. In this day and age, if you're trying to make money and you don't know where to start, the easiest thing to do is to offer a service. You find a need and you fill a need. And I found a need and I filled that need. So look, Selwyn, I was a broke med student, okay? Coming out of there, I refused to go to my parents. And a lot of people don't believe that till this day. They're like, come on, your parents are successful. Of course they helped you somewhere along the line, right? They put you up somewhere, they gave you some, no. The truth is, I wanted to do it on my own. And with nothing more than a computer, a Wi-Fi connection that I did not own. Sorry, I used to bum some free Wi-Fi from the neighbors. I used to get some free Wi-Fi from Starbucks. I'd use free Wi-Fi from wherever I could until I could afford to get mobile data on my phone, and then I would hotspot my computer and use it very, very strategically. That's how I started. I think most people are just unwilling, Selwyn, to make that move, because you have to face a certain level of rejection if you're going to do that. I hit the road. I literally pounded the pavement, knocking on doors, business to business, to try and sell my idea of what I was doing. Social media was gaining steam. I knew there was a lot of people that didn't understand how to effectively use Facebook and Twitter and YouTube to promote their business. So there was a massive opportunity for small mom and pop stores. So I went knocking on doors. I found information, whatever information I could, and made that pitch to them, and I started to sell my services. Now, it doesn't cost me anything, Selwyn, to deliver those services because it's me and me alone. There's no one to pay. There's no real overhead because it's not my Wi-Fi connection in the first place. And once I started to make some money from that, that started to bankroll the operations. And that's what caused it to grow. I see a lot of young entrepreneurs that I deal with, Selwyn, that think they need millions of dollars, or at least thousands of dollars, millions of dollars Guyanese, or at least thousands of dollars US to start their business. Nothing could be further from the truth. A Facebook fan page is free. You can get friends for free. You can enter groups for free. You can join clubs for free. You can attend meetings for free. You can do all sorts of stuff to get your name out there. You can knock on doors for free. You can get photocopies done of your business cards. Look, Selwyn, up to that, I didn't have money to afford any fancy business cards. You know what I did? I made them in PowerPoint. I printed them out on paper and I cut them myself. Paper, regular paper, those were my business cards. Wow. Because it was something. And something is better than nothing. I always say that 1 is better than 0. You don't have to start with 100. You don't have to start with 1,000. Just start with 1. And that will get you to where you're going.
What was your mission at the outset?
The mission at the outset was to start making the moves towards funding a school or building a hospital. That was always the big goal. And it wasn't that I was sentimentally attached to internet marketing or to social media or anything like that. I saw that as a vehicle. It was something that people didn't understand. It's something that I could quickly understand. And so when I didn't go to school for this. I didn't go to school for internet marketing. I didn't do any official programs in marketing, but my clients today include Armani Exchange, Starbucks, Ford, the motor company, and hundreds, thousands of others across the globe. Because what it comes down to at the end of the day is not your degree, but your level of competence. And what I did was, again, get resourceful. I tell people this all the time. You've got Professor Pinterest, you've got Tutor Twitter, you've got Guru Google. You go out there and you use those platforms, you learn what you can. You learn what you can, as much as you can, and you deliver on those. Once you get people results, now your portfolio starts to grow. And once your portfolio starts to grow, people take you seriously. And that's how the whole operation began.
What would you do differently if you had to do it over again?
I think I would have gotten vocal a lot earlier on. I started to realize only recently, I think, Selwyn, maybe in the last 2 years, that I needed to step out from behind the shadows, step out from the background of making all these things happen, and really share directly with people, not from a fan page with a name on it, but from myself, Rosh, to create a personal brand. And I think if I had created a personal brand much earlier, and I started to do more content marketing much earlier, and with that content marketing, start to sell my services smartly, I think I'd be further along than I am today, because the results would have compounded over time. When I first got started, I was the guy who was part of a team making it happen. I was looking for people who are at the forefront, and I was the guy helping in the back. And I think you need a certain level of that. You need that experience under your belt. You have to understand how to roll up your sleeves and just do the work in the trenches before you sort of jump out as a personal brand. But with what I know today, I would have started that earlier. I would have had what I call a value ladder in place very early on. I would have had an ascension model in place very early on. And I would have started to use paid media, paid advertising much earlier than I did. And that's what I tell all entrepreneurs, all businesses that I deal with. A lot of people come to me and they're gloating. They're saying, man, I've achieved all that I've achieved with zero paid advertisement. And I say, man, well, you did it the hard way. Because imagine where you would be if you took some of those funds and you threw them into paid advertising and you quadrupled your reach for way less effort, and you were able to see those returns much earlier on. Because it's very mathematical once you really dive into it. And I want to bore you, Selwyn, and bore your viewers with the mathematics of it.
No.
But really, it's understanding how much will it cost to reach certain people, and of those people I reach, how many will respond, and of those that respond, how many will actually convert. And you can track that funnel, and you can track those numbers down to the point where you say, if I put $100 into advertising, I know I'm going to get $500 out in revenue. And I understood that, and I learned that, and I was doing that for my clients. But to answer your question, that's one thing that I would have had in place much earlier.
Rosh, I want to come back to a question that I want to ask you about stepping out from behind the shadows. But I want to go first to your revenue. From $100 a month to about $20,000 a month, talking US.
Yes.
What was that like, Rosh?
I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was possible in such a short time span. So that transformation happened in about 9 months, Selwyn. Getting my first gig, I remember making that first $100 and thinking, man, this is amazing. I just made $100. And then I remember closing Chris Farrell, I mentioned him earlier, and he paid me my first $1,000 online. And at that point, Selwyn, I said, I made it. This is it. This is it. I'm rich. I don't have to do anything now. You realize very quickly, you really haven't made it yet. As nice as that is in the moment, there's a lot of work to do, because making money, creating a certain level of revenue, and building a business are two completely different things. And sometimes people are great on their own as a freelancer. But when it comes time to build your team, grow your team members, really create a brand for what you represent, go after your target demographic. Now we're talking about a whole lot of other aspects of the business and building that business. So for me, personally, it always felt unreal, to the point where there's an amazing platform out there called ClickBank. And for anyone listening who's interested in internet marketing, who has a certain level of expertise that you can package, that you can teach. If someone told you my goodness, you're good at that thing and you can teach it, go to clickbank.com and learn about that platform.
ClickBank?
Clickbank.com. I think it's actually clickbank.net. And it's like the Amazon of information products, where you can go, you can take your expertise, you can package your expertise into an info product. And when I say info product, I mean a PDF or a series of videos or a membership site. And essentially, you can sell that online to people. So they handle all of that for you. They handle all the selling for you. You just need to get people to your sales page. Now, I had launched a program with Ryan Lee called Fan Page Simplified. Selwyn, he approached me because I was on the cutting edge of everything. And that's another tip for anyone listening. For anyone who's hungry, who's hustling, who's looking to say, well, what can I do next? Get on the cutting edge of whatever industry excites you, because I promise you, the top players in your local market are not on the bleeding edge. And if you can be the person to say, here's what's happening, and you can inform people, and you can inform people in a way that shows competence and credibility, people will listen to you, people will buy from you. And it also ties in what I teach with KLT. This is a very famous abbreviation now. Know, like, trust. People will only buy from you if they trust you. People will only trust you if they like you. People will only like you if they first know you. KLT. Now, if you do that and you jump on these platforms like ClickBank, you're going to experience what I experienced, Selwyn. In the first weekend that we launched the product, Selwyn, we did $25,000 in sales.
Wow.
$25,000. Now, I knew about internet marketing, and for some reason I thought this thing is a scam. It's impossible to make this kind of money in such a short time span. It's just not possible. Until the checks came. And the checks came, and the first check was $11,000. What? This isn't real. This must be a scam. I'm going to take it to the bank. Maybe I get in trouble. I don't know. I take it to the bank. The bank looks at it. They say, okay, where's the source of funds? Where's this from? No problem. It goes into my account. No one questions me. I say, maybe this thing is real, Selwyn. 3 days later, it posts in my account. All of a sudden, I realize how real this thing is. And how if I can do it, somebody who just used Google and YouTube and Twitter and all these platforms out there, then anybody can do it. Right? There's no secret to it. I tell people that. The secret to this thing is that there's no secret. There's a lot of people who are selling smokes and mirrors, trying to make this thing seem more complicated than it really is. But it's really not. You find a need, you create a product, and then you fill that need. And the reason, I should also say, it wasn't because I went out and did this myself. I did have the support of Ryan Lee to make that happen, and he did take that product and he shared that with his entire list, which is why those funds came in very quickly. But you could start to see what that does to the mind. It started to shift my mindset from this sort of scarcity mindset to this abundance mindset, where I started to realize, hold on a second. What if this wasn't just a launch that I did every few months? Could I actually hit these numbers every month? And then you start to reverse engineer. Okay, so I want to work towards 20,000. I'm selling a $500 product. Okay, 20,000 divided by 500. What is that? That's 20. So that means I need to get 20 clients, and I need to close 20 clients at $500 every single month. Now, if I know those 20 clients, maybe only 10% of the people are going to convert, and that's 20 people, that's 10% of 200, right? So that means I need to approach 200 people every single month. 200 people need to be exposed to my stuff so I can get 20 people to buy my stuff. Makes sense, right? Mathematics. But I realized so when I was doing it the hard way. Because every month that means I had to find 200 new people to sell to, which is tough. And that's when it hit me. Why sell an entirely new product to an entirely new customer when I can simply create a recurring revenue model? A subscription model. The utility companies do this. Why can't we do this? Right, we pay for cable, we pay for TV, we pay for internet every single month, and that bill is expected to be paid because they're delivering a service. So why don't we approach this with business? And that's where everything switched for me. Because I realized, hang on a second, what if the same 20 people that I found in March, were the same 20 people that paid me in April and May and June and July. And without realizing it, again, remember, I didn't go to school for this stuff. I realized, that's a subscription program. That's a retainer where people are going to pay me every single month for a service that I render. And everything changed for me then, Selwyn, because I no longer needed to look and find all these clients. It just had to keep my current clients happy. You had to factor for churn rate. Of course, every client's not going to stay with you forever. Once they get their results, clients are going to move on, and that's understood. So I knew that at that 3-month mark or that 6-month mark, I needed to find new clients and I needed to keep my prospect pipeline full. And that's why today in the masterclass, I always ask my students, what's the most important P word when it comes to business? Most people say profit, persistence, all sorts. Everyone says all sorts of things. And I say, you're all right, but you know what the most important word is in business? That P word? Predictability. Predictability is what's important, because you can have all the persistence in the world. You can have all the profit this month, but what about next month? And that's where you get the feast or famine cycle, where this month, man, we made a big sale. We're going to have a feast. You're going to take care of your family. You're going to take them out. You guys are going to go out. You're going to take care of your staff. You're going to take care of your team. And then next month, nobody hears from you because no clients came in and you're barely scraping by. And you seesaw your way until your business dies. Or if you're lucky, your business grows. So predictability is important, and that's why you want to apply the mathematics I just described, so that you can understand every month what to expect, because with projection, you can plan your expansion of your business, and you'll know how to hire, when to hire.
Rosh, what are most people surprised to learn about you when they get to know you?
Well, I don't tell a whole lot of people about the MD. So when they hear about that, they're like, wait, what? Are you crazy? You left medicine to jump into business? Are you nuts? And I think that's one thing that surprises a lot of people. Something else that surprises a lot of people is my love for pyrography. And so when I'm sharing this with you as well for the first time.
Yes.
So pyrography meaning like calligraphy,
yes.
But pyro meaning fire. It's really writing with fire. And it's something I started to pick up about a year ago, and I bought what they call a wood burning kit, and I've got pieces of wood at home, and I'm working on I'm letting the cat out the bag here. I'm working on a piece I won't give too much details, but I'm working on a piece, and it includes pyrography, wood burning essentially. And something else I think that floors a lot of people in my spare time, to just sort of decompress, aside from reading and swimming and meditating and those sorts of things. I love to play Tetris. Yeah, I'm a Tetris junkie. I tell people I'm a recovering Tetris addict, because I have so much fun. It settles and calms my mind when I'm playing Tetris.
You know, Rosh, it never ceases to surprise me or amaze me how time runs here. But I'm going to ask you these few questions.
Go for it.
If all of your money, your websites, your products, your contacts were to disappear, just gone, being destroyed, what would you do if you had to start from scratch? What model would you use?
Okay, I would use exactly what I teach. I'm a big believer in doing what you preach. I would use what we call an MVP, which is a minimum viable product. Okay, you want to find where people are hurting somewhere, where there's a need somewhere. So for me, I figure out what do people want right now. And for folks who are listening who probably don't even know what people want, I tell them go to the closest magazine stand. What are those magazines about? There's been so much research and so much money spent on creating those magazines for those genres on those topics that means there are millions upon millions of people who are interested in those things. Okay? Or go to dummies.com. You know those books? Real Estate for Dummies, Social Media for Dummies. Go to dummies.com. They're not going to release a book if they haven't already done the research that there's a massive audience for this. Okay? So go to one of those places, find one of those topics that you have expertise in or that you have passion in, so that you will learn, right? And that's why I tell people, attitude over skills every single day. If you've got a good attitude and you've got a passion for it, go and learn it. It doesn't take long to learn it. Once you've learned that stuff, go and package it up. I tell people, before you're great, you've got to learn to be bad. Bad meaning B, build your brand, build your product, make it the best thing possible. A, create awareness around it. And D, work on flawless delivery. Make sure the delivery is perfect. So be bad before you can be great. So find a topic area, make sure you gain expertise in it, follow bad, and then launch what I call an MVP. An MVP follows the lean startup model, which says, you know what, I'm not gonna start selling a massive salon and take this huge amounts of money. I'm so sad when I see entrepreneurs do this, especially in Guyana. They'll create a barbershop or they'll launch a new company, hoping that people will walk in. And I call that, Selwyn, hope marketing. They're deploying hope marketing where they just hope somebody from the sidewalk is gonna walk in. No, we've got too many resources available today. Use your phone, use Facebook, launch a Facebook page, learn paid advertising. Throw little amounts of money into Facebook. $1 a day, $2 a day. We're talking US here. Or if you have it, $5 a day. That's $1,000 Guyanese a day. At the end of the month, you're talking about $30,000. In the big scheme of things, to test if an idea works or not, Selwyn, that's not a whole lot of money.
No, it's not.
I know people who've spent millions only to see that business shut down. So spend $30,000 in Facebook ads. See if people bite. See if your phone rings. See if people are interested in this. And if they are, then you've got a business. Then you're going to build it out with all the bells and whistles and personalities and fancy logos. Don't get caught up on those things. First, see if the MVP, the skeleton, is going to sell. And that's exactly what I would do if I had to start over.
When are you most happy, Rosh?
I think I'm most happy when I am providing value or bringing happiness to other people. In what we do, Selwyn, with the Masterclass Institute, I say I'm driven by the core four. 4 core sets of life that drives me, that I aim to share with everybody. And it's when I'm tapping into one of those 4 areas that I'm very happy, Selwyn. Now, when I say the 4 sets of life, the first set I'm talking about is mindset. Because if you can see, you know when you talk to people and you see that light bulb go off, that makes me happy. If you can get a person from point A to point B and see that shift in their mind, I think it's incredible. But aside from mindset, that's set 1, there's also skill set. I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to empower people with the right skill set. Look, you could be in Africa, you could be in Guyana, you could be wanting to get a truck to drop off vaccines somewhere, okay? And you've got great mindset, you're very well intentioned, but having the skill set to jump in the truck and actually do it yourself is a whole other conversation. So making sure that you've got the right skill sets to match that mindset, that makes me happy. Having the right tool set, providing people with the right tool set, showing people where the right resources are. When I'm able to take our students, Selwyn, and show them where they can make anywhere from $20 to $200 US from Guyana on the internet every single day, showing them the tools and how to go about using them, that makes me happy, Selwyn. And lastly, the 4th set, heart set. Now, none of this matters if your heart isn't in the right place. And if you're about giving, and I can be a part of giving, or I can empower someone in some way to do a better job at giving, or to package their expertise in a way so they're providing value to the world, that makes me happy.
What are you most proud of?
I think I'm most proud of what my team and I have accomplished in a very short space of time. You know, Selwyn, I look at Guyana, and we look at oil, and we look at the excitement, and we look at all the franchises that are coming to Guyana. I'm not going to call any names because some of my dear friends own some of them. I see nothing wrong with it. They're simply providing something that the market needs, that the market wants. But I think what really excites me, Selwyn, is the fact that we are creating a product in Guyana. The Masterclass Institute wasn't founded in New York. The Masterclass Institute wasn't founded in Dubai or Africa or the UK or Australia. When people told us that we were crazy to create an international business training organization from Guyana, I said we're going to do it. And we did it, Selwyn. We launched the Masterclass Institute. We have international students. We have an opening coming up in Trinidad. Imagine that. Something from Guyana is now going to Trinidad.
Wow.
We have people interested in Barbados who want to see the launch of the Masterclass Institute in Barbados as well. And that excites me, Selwyn, because it means that we can produce, we can create in Guyana, and we can take it out to the world. I want to see more of that in arts and crafts. I want to see more of that in services. I want to see more people packaging the amazing things we have in Guyana and taking that out to the world. So it makes me proud. It makes me happy to be able to do that.
If you could go back in time, what would you tell your 15-year-old self?
Stop being such an introvert. I don't tell a lot of people this. I don't share this a lot, but I think if I'm honest, and I think as a leader, you need to have a certain level of self-awareness. I think I'm a default introvert. I gain a lot of energy being with myself. I also gain a lot of energy being with people, but sometimes I think that's a mode that I step into. When I jump up on stage, when we have a conversation like this, I think it's the more extroverted side of me that steps out. And I think at 15, I would tell myself that rejection is normal, nervousness is normal, insecurities are normal, but go out there, be vulnerable about who you are, share that with the world, because there's something that happens. And I've only learned that recently, Selwyn, that the more vulnerable you are, the more authentic you are. And I think people are so used to dealing with this version of people that is so well put together, so well polished, that when you're vulnerable, it's refreshing. So I would tell my 15-year-old self to express more, to speak more, to enter more social circles as much as possible, and to be a part of groups and to get involved with communities very early on. I wish, Selwyn, that I got involved with community development earlier on. I was involved, but I think I could have gotten more involved. You look at Guyana, Selwyn, and you look at all these 5-star hotels that people are talking about. You look at all these 5-star malls that are going up. And I think to myself, are we building 5-star communities? And I'd like to play a role in that. Had I been able to turn the clock back, I think I would have done it sooner.
My last question, what makes you laugh out loud?
I think you mentioned that one earlier. Family.
Family.
I think it's family. It's when you're with family and you're not on in any way, you're completely yourself, and people are cracking jokes. And you know, when you're with family, there are no filters, Selwyn.
Right.
When you're with family, your parents are going to tell you, your aunts are going to tell you about what they did with you as a kid and how they had to clean your diaper and all sorts of things. Right? This is what being with family does. And I think it's in those moments when we bring up the old stories and we go and we reminisce. I think that's when I laugh out loud. I think that's when I'm happiest.
And Rosh, one last thing. I mean, we're saying it here, but in September, CWS is getting ready to do a men's conference in Guyana, and I invited you to be part of that group and so on. And I'm so happy that you've agreed to come on board. I think it's timely. The Minister of Kathy Hughes asked me to do this during the Women's Empowerment segment.
Yes, I was there. Yes,
and I answered the call. So I don't know what I've gotten myself into, but I think it's important, as you said, to step out of your comfort zone. And so we're going to make this happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Selwyn. Thank you for the invite for that. I think it's very powerful. We've got a lot of women empowerment movements. This is needed, but we can't forget our men as well. You know, you talk to a lot of these hardened guys, and you spend a few minutes with them, and you realize how vulnerable they can get. You spend a few minutes with them, you can sort of crack that shell, and you realize there is a void that needs filling. And I applaud you, Selwyn, for forging ahead, for answering the minister's call, and for forging ahead with this, and I will support and participate however best I can.
Thanks, brother. And this is Selwyn Collins saying, good night, fear not what fear whispers to you, fear your obedience to it. Good night.
Good night.